What's up?
Hey.
Episode 12.
Yes.
How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys had a good week from when the last one dropped. It's Tuesday, we're recording, but I know we don't go live till like Friday.
It's only Tuesday, y'all. That's all I got. It's only Tuesday.
And Monday beat my ass. Monday came in swinging.
No, Monday had you in a headlock. Not even.
Woo! It was an hour into my shift yesterday, and the frustration was pouring out my eyes, and I don't cry. I cry when I'm mad or I'm frustrated. And I started crying. So I was
Another level.
beat Monday.
But it's now Tuesday, though.
It's now Tuesday, and I kind of feel like the aftermath of Monday, and I'm just feeling like, I think, cranky from it.
No, you're feeling the residue.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to, like I said, okay, you know what? This morning, I'm like, let me look at shit positively, and like, let me start looking at things a little bit different.
Did you say your affirmations this morning, friend?
I tried. I tried. And then I was at
Did you
Restaurant
affirm
Depot.
yourself?
I was at Restaurant Depot online, and I'm thinking of my kid. My kids popped in my head, and I'm like, you know what? Like, like I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, like what is good? Like what is going right? And I'm like, well, you know what? My kids are both straight.
Yes.
They're both healthy.
Right.
They're both, doing well for themselves, like, pushing and regardless of all the
Opposition.
yeah, like adversity they've had in their life that they've dealt with, they're
They
actually
persevere.
both really, really good kids, and I am grateful that I have them,
Absolutely.
and like I'm grateful that they're in a good position. So like I was trying to like switch my brain, but then life started coming back for me.
For real.
And it's like I'm dealing with a situation in regards to a car that my son's car got hit. So I'm trying to deal with that, and this situation is testing me. Then it's like my equipment decided to play games on us yesterday. 2 refrigerators down.
2?
2. Then the soda machine. Today the soda machine
For real?
is throwing water all out of it.
Listen, all I know is my RC Cola better be straight. I don't care whatever other beverages.
What is going on? And then I got a text message in regards to an account that I had that threw me. So yeah.
Seemed like you had a whole Tuesday, friend. Look, you had a full Tuesday to say the least.
I'm like trying to like keep my perspective in a good place, but it's like I'm not trying to play victim. Like, and I know we're gonna
we victorious, friend.
Like I know we're gonna get through this, but it's like
sometimes you get tired of having to go through.
Yeah, I must say I felt like Monday won.
And it probably did, because I know I could sit up here and say my Monday won.
Yeah, like it was like Monday, you won.
I didn't even put up a fight. I said you won. You got it. You got it.
You won. And then so then like this whole day, I was just like, all right, whatever. So I got home, like I'm trying to like decompress my brain. I did laundry. I had a nice dinner with my family. Then I was like, all right, let me shower. Let me oil my hair. Bottle slips out my hand, glass everywhere, oil everywhere. I said,
thank God you didn't slip, because you could fall.
I said, was this the grand finale?
It was,
today.
Just like fireworks, it's the end when it's like it just goes repeatedly. It just goes loud and insane.
What? Like, I really tried. I tried to keep my perspective, but yeah. So that's how Monday went. So now we're at Tuesday. It's been pretty good. I had a list of stuff that needed to be done today, and I accomplished a lot of it, which I'm happy about. And then my friend is going through it, because you guys all know, if you don't, her son is having surgery on Thursday.
Yeah, this week.
So it's a lot.
2 days from now.
As a mom, it's a lot. And
that's why, listen, I keep it straight up on this side. I'm looking just like what I'm going through right now, but guess what? I'm here.
So, yeah. So, we're planning on this, and we're dealing with that.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot, but
we getting through it, friend.
We're getting through it.
And I could have me a Sabrat hot dog. You know those little hot dogs? I was starving. I had me a hot dog and a Pepsi. And you know what? That just gave me a little bit of charge to fight again. Listen, it's the little things. Do not despise small beginnings. It be the little things that just get you over. I said, you know what? My hair isn't done. I'm tired. I feel defeated. But guess what? I'm still pushing through. But I did get some amazing news today. In 2 days, my son has to have, a major surgery, which is literally, we found out in January. I blinked probably 4 times, and now we're in April, and now we're 2 days away. So, first of all, his appointment was this morning. It took me 2 hours to get there. A 38-minute trip.
The joys of driving to New York.
Right. And then I was literally 2 blocks from the hospital, and I was there for like 50 minutes just stuck. So I'm there, finally found a parking space and valet. Then I'm pushing his chair, doing all this. I'm like I was defeated. You know what I mean? So we go to the doctor. The doctor was amazing. This was the first time we met the doctor. She was simply amazing. And like I always say, I do not believe in coincidences. And she's going through like all of his stuff or whatever. And she realized she was colleagues with his previous neuromuscular specialist. So she's like, oh, all of these things. So she's doing this big evaluation on him. And I see that he's nervous because he keeps grabbing my hand and stuff like that because he's very bright. He may have his physical limitations, but he's a bright kid. He's very smart. He's fully aware. He knows what's going on. So she was very thorough. So she took a long time, and she came back to the desk and she said, does anybody in your family have this disease? And I'm like, no. And she said, what about the father? I was like, no. And she said, just ask him. And she said, because he has like a mild mutation, and she's steady evaluating and going through his things. Let me tell you something. I got the best news today. So Justin and I are sitting there, and she says to me, he just went through puberty, which because he has this disease makes him weaker. And I said, yeah. And I said, I figured that much. And she's like, I'm looking at his spine because he has what they call a C-curve spine. Mm-hmm. And she said, I see what they're going to have to do in the tailbone and stuff like that. But what she said to me was like, wow. She said, he didn't stop walking because of the disease. The disease didn't get worse. So I'm like, okay. I said, so what made him stop walking? Mm-hmm. She was like, due to the scoliosis. He's leaned over and he's forward, which is compressing against his lungs. So you leaned over, you're not balanced. Mm-hmm. And then she said he's wearing the braces now because of the right foot, of course. The foot was turned that he couldn't hold his weight. Mm-hmm. And so she said with the foot and him being curved like that, she said in puberty, that's what made it accelerate the way that it did. Mm. And she said being that he's wheelchair bound now, it progressed the scoliosis. She's like, once they do that, once they fix the hip, she's like, she looked at him straight up and was like, Justin, it's going to be a rough road. And she's like, it's going to be hard. She was like, but your leg strength is strong. And she's like, I was checking your bones and checking everything. She said, if it was the disease that made you stop walking, your bone density would be weaker. And it would, what's the word? The D word? All those good words.
Degenerative.
Yes. No, it would have degenerated, right?
Yeah.
Made his bones weaker. She said after the surgery, once he gets that done, and she said he keeps on the brace. She said the best news. She said my son will walk again.
See, so it was a good day.
It's not the disease. He does have the disease, but my concern was his bones got so weak that it was like, okay, his back will be straight, then what? Mm-hmm. No, it was, of course, the scoliosis and the foot, because she said he could hold his weight. Now it's like, once we get this done and he wears his braces, he's going to be able to stand. Mm-hmm. He's going to be able to walk. When I tell you, I haven't seen joy in my son's life like that, in his life in over a year. We got in the car. He said, it's go time. I was like, that's right. So we are on a journey
Justin's
My
journey.
son is going to walk again. I don't care that people could have gave me money. The way that I feel, all I needed was like that glimmer of hope. And for her to tell me and to confirm, like, this is happening. It's not going to be easy.
Right.
It's not going to be easy, but it's obtainable.
And that's all that matters.
And I don't even care what I look like right now, but I just had to share that with y'all.
And that's just
My
kind of
life.
like, I think,
And I ain't even cried, friend. You saw that. I felt a little tremble in the throat, but I held it down. You felt that, right? You saw that.
I think that's like a pure example of like, when we feel like, look at Princess staring at you.
Because listen, Princess, I'm trying to work on it. I've been talking to your dad. You need some headphones. You could sit right on my lap because I feel like you got a lot to get off your chest under that fur too, sis. Because you've been around for a while, so you've been through some experiences, sis. But go ahead.
I think
That's my friend right there. Even dogs like me.
I think the thing is, like, when we're going through the storm or through the fire or through whatever, however analogy like you're gonna say, you are so like not blindsided. You are so like
Jaded?
no, it's kind of like you're so like tunnel vision that all you're seeing is like the issues, like the problems, the darkness,
right? What you're in.
And it's like you forget there's another side of that.
Yeah.
Like there's the outside of that. There's like the end of the tunnel. There is like the light. And like I know like that's a metaphor or like it's such a cliche, but there is that light at the end. But I think when we're wrapped up in it, we forget that. And
absolutely.
It's like we
and
want
it's hard to see.
And like we're just seeing everything
The
through
now.
like these like dark lenses, these clouded lenses, and it's like you don't want to see past that. And I
Right.
think that's a lot of it. And I'm gonna speak on myself.
Go
like
ahead. Go ahead, sis.
like I went through like probably like a 8-9 year stretch of like things, and it was kind of like one
Issues.
thing after another,
Yeah, I
after another,
feel you.
after another, probably more than that. But it's like once I got to the and like all I kept seeing was like, oh my God, like
One thing after
another.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
feel like that.
once I got to the other side and things started feeling lighter and things started getting lighter, and then like other situations started happening, I think what started happening with me is like I'm started going back to thinking of when it was like that.
Yeah.
And it's like
That's your default setting.
Yeah, and it's like I want to get myself out of that because it's like I'm focusing on like the struggle,
Right.
but it's like I'm not where I was.
But also too, sometimes you could get focused on the struggle and quickly forget the breakthrough.
Yeah, and it's like and it's like I think it's like fear is like making me think of that struggle.
Absolutely, because
And
it's still
like,
sensitive to you.
Yeah, it's still sensitive to me, and it's like focusing on like, okay, well, what if it gets bad, or what if
Because
this
that's
goes
still
back
an unhealed issue.
Yeah,
It's
so
still a
it's
sensitive
like,
issue.
That is where I think forget. Like once you see that light, it feels
subsides.
good, and it subsides. But it's like one thing comes back in and makes that trigger come back.
It floods.
It floods, and now you start thinking of all the things that you went through, and it's like, oh my God, I don't want to be back there, and I don't want to go back there.
Right.
And you focus so much on not wanting to go back there. It's like you kind of go back there by default.
Yeah, because that's the known. We are afraid as humans, and I could definitely speak for myself of the unknown. The unknown is very fearful, and then when it's the unknown, doubt comes. And then when doubt comes, then the thoughts come. Then when the thoughts come, it's you sit there. Well, I can't speak for anybody, but I start, building scenarios and stuff. And with me, it was like you said, one thing after the other. There was a period in my life where it was literally one thing after the other, one thing after the other. And, we always talk about perspective, and I had to realize this, and I was just thinking about this last night. And sometimes I get so caught up of what I am not that I forget what I am.
Yeah, I get that. Like, and I think like as these situations are happening, and they're like so small, they're not even like major situations. I mean,
It's triggers to
there's
trigger the
some that
bigger
are going
situation.
on like behind the scenes that are just
Whatever.
like I'm over it, and
Right.
like I just need to handle things.
Yeah, yeah.
But then there's like these little situations, these daily situations that come in, and like yeah, some of them suck, but
Right.
it's
You
like
get through it though.
I get like focused on them,
You let it harbor.
and I let it harbor.
Yeah.
And then it's like I don't want to feel good. I don't want to feel happy. Like I don't want, and it's like
And it's a fight.
yeah, and it's
Some
like I'm
days it's a
fighting
fight.
myself.
Yeah, but the thing is, the battle is always you versus you. And I was thinking about this last night, and I was saying to myself, like, well, let me pull this mic up a little closer. I was like, you know what? I'm strong.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm strong. But hold on, let me finish my thought.
tired of being strong.
But you know what? There's some people that wish they were. You know, sometimes we go through battles and stuff like that, and we go through things like, oh, this day. But there was a moment in my life, just the thought of things, I couldn't get out of bed. So I had to commend myself. Like, I don't know if anybody else battled from depression before, but sometimes you could be overwhelmed by just even the thought of becoming overwhelmed. So you literally overwhelm yourself and you're not even doing anything. Just the smallest little task will literally overwhelm you. And there were moments that I was going back to that. Not saying that I wanted to be, but it was like I felt like I couldn't control or couldn't contain myself. And once you come out of that, you have to, one, realize it, two, be grateful that you came out of it. And then it's like you literally have to be thankful. And I'm like, I was thinking about it, like, I've been through so much in my life, but I'm still here. I'm still standing. And people, like, that's a cliche thought also, but it's the truth. So many people go through so many different things. Some people's lives are way worse than ours. So I have to literally check myself. And it's like every time I feel like I'm thinking about something, especially pertaining to Justin in this situation, I feel like God gives me a sign. Like, sis, sit down. Like, we're leaving out the hospital and I'm hearing this news or whatever, and I'm pushing him and stuff. And it was a guy sitting, I guess, waiting for a ride in a wheelchair. Both of his legs was amputated. Now, I just got news that there's hope for my son to walk. And I'm like, someone always have it. But that man was smiling and told me to have a good day. So it's like, we have to make life what we make it. It will never, listen, you will never, ever have a perfect moment. I'm learning we have to just take the moments and make it perfect. Just like when I got home and I went in my pantry before I came here, and I realized I forgot all about it, Frank, because I was all over the place. I bought me a case of wild cherry Pepsi. I'm so happy about that. It's the little things. It's like, you know, you have to obtain your happiness some way or somehow, because, yo, life be life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Life be life. And if it's the smallest thing that could bring you some type of peace, even if it's our chocolate friend, but it's true, because it's like, we got to get something to get through. We got to get, what we going to stop? What we going to give up? We going to throw in the towel? Then what? I've been there. And you know what? That put me in a deeper hole. I don't want to go back in there. And I know there's people that's really dealing with stuff and be like, I don't know how I'm going to come through this, how I'm going to overcome, because I've been that person. That is one of the worst feelings to feel, because you literally feel mentally imprisoned. And you have the key, but you don't even have the strength to take the key off the hook to unlock yourself. Look, what you think about that? That sounded kind of like philosophical, psychological. What you think, friend? Jesus. Is it that your degree on the wall?
Philosophical? No.
Whatever.
Psychological? Yes.
Whatever. I knew it had an F, but it was a PH.
Yeah, I definitely think, you know, there's some days that are much better and easier than others.
Yeah.
But I also sometimes just avoid, like, knowing that there's things that I have to do.
Friend, who?
And it's like, I just keep myself so busy
that you don't want to think about it, or you don't want to address it. Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to get back to that place. And sometimes I find myself going back to that place.
You know what? We need an R&B night. That's what we need. We need some R&Bs. We need to hear some feel good 4-man group. You know, close your eyes, make a wish. It's been an hour since you've been gone. You know what I'm saying? We need some not Jodeci, Jodeci's, Boys to Men's.
Yeah, I think like we get kind of like tunnel
That's
vision.
our default.
Yeah, we get tunnel vision of like not wanting to go back to a certain thing, but it's like we then go back to it.
Yeah, because that's what we know.
And it's like that whole like, oh, you know, we're strong. Like, I know I'm strong.
Yeah.
I don't want to be strong anymore.
But you know what? But perspective, friend. Because you know what? That is something. I used to literally cry. This is the truth. I used to cry and I used to ask God, like, why did you make me like this? Like, I used to hate being strong because of the fact that because people looked at me as strong, they feel like they could pour it on me. And not only pour it on me, but not help me because, oh, you're strong. But I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful and I'm trying to embrace the strength because I can carry it. You know what I mean? Because everything that we go through, I feel like it's not for us. It goes through us, but we can help someone else. But when you're in the midst of things, it's like you don't think about it that way. Because I know I don't. I have my moments where I'm just a whole mess. But when I come out of my whole mess, it's like, you know what? All right, it's here. How are we going to handle this? What are we going to do?
I know. And it's like I get to that point. But it's like I can prevent that point from happening, but I don't because I kind of just want to, like, if I can handle certain things along the line before they get to that point, it's like once something is in chaos, I work wonders.
Okay, but my thing is, do you ever?
I don't want to work in chaos.
Do you ever think that sometimes, even though we could prevent or change or whatever, you don't think things happen just the way it should? I believe that, yes, we have control on certain things. But like I said before in a previous episode, I think some things just have to happen.
I don't think I know. Not that I don't think. I think like there's different, not paths, but like I think choices create different paths.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like, I think we make choices, which then brings us down that path. But I think every choice that we make brings us down a different path.
Right.
So like, why do I, like, sometimes I battle with myself. Like, why do I choose the path of chaos?
Maybe that's a familiar thing to you.
I don't know. Like, why am I choosing chaos? My stomach's growling, guys. I'm starving. Like, why do I choose chaos? I'm not like that's where because it's like I work best under chaos. I want to work best under chaos.
Yeah, because that's what, like you said, that's your default setting. We always
it's like life has always thrown me these situations that you have no other choice but to deal with, but they're all chaotic situations.
Yeah, because you know what? Maybe you ever thought about it. Maybe these are presented to you because God know you can handle them.
I know, but
look at me. Look at who talking, but still, you know, it sounded good, right?
Give it to somebody else.
Yeah, but but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to ever say, like, because I used to say that all before, like, oh, why does have to happen, whatever, like, and that breeds a victim mentality.
Yeah, and I don't want to play victim. Like,
so no, not saying you, but what I'm saying for
like,
me.
Yeah, like,
but it's like now I'm trying to change my perspective on it. Like, okay, there's nothing I could do about it.
Like, I definitely don't want to get in that victim mentality.
And it's easy. It is
easy. And I've never really been in that mentality. Right. But like, I mean,
everybody gets tired.
Everybody gets tired. And we've all fallen short where we're like, oh my God, this is enough is enough. But it was like yesterday kind of just gave me today the realization, like, I got to either refocus or rethink how I'm doing things, because things that are like starting to unfold are either like the byproduct of me not handling stuff or not taking care of things or letting things go or just focusing too much on other things. Like, I don't know. Like, I had to check myself.
For me, I'm learning that in this season that I have to, and I was told to as well. So that was like my confirmation. I have to refocus my focus.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that's where I kind of got sidetracked.
And it's easy to be distracted because this is life, and life throws unforeseen circumstances. So it's like you automatically go to what you know or what you usually do. But and it's a fight, because anything that you change, any change comes with a fight. That's how you know it's changed, because it's a struggle. You know what I mean? And what I'm trying to do and want to work on is refocusing my focus, because when I'm focused on something, and it's like tunnel vision, like you said, but sometimes not in a good way. So it's like I'm focused when I'm focused, but what is the focus on?
Right. And that's where I think yesterday kind of checked me, because I'm just like, I'm a true believer that we create a lot of our situations,
Of
right?
course.
So like
Choices.
yeah. So then like yesterday I'm like, how did this whole thing with one of my, my accounts, like how did this happen?
Things happen,
Like
friend.
where did this one come out of? Where did this just come out of now? And it's like, then it's like my head starts going in a spiral, and then it's like, well, what happens if this happens, or this?
You create scenarios.
You create
you build scenarios.
and
But the thing is,
I'm focusing on this one L instead of focusing on
all the wins you
all
have,
the other wins.
Yeah.
So like that's where I'm just
Perspective,
kind
friend.
of like, all right, why am I going down this tunnel right now? Like, why am I going down this hole right now? Like, what's
the root of it?
Yeah, like what's the root of it?
What's
Like,
the
what is going on with me that this is happening? Like, why is this appearing in my reality? Like, what is going on with me, like inside, that now it's mirroring this back to me? So that's where I guess I'm kind of stuck.
But you know what? Everybody has those days, and that's the thing. We all are human. And I read something that said, each day will look different, but that doesn't mean that you're not doing your best. Some days your best will look different, and you have to be okay with that. And that brought peace to my spirit.
Like even yesterday, like when I was driving to work, like I always say, that's like usually my time to talk to God. And I was like, you know what, God, today show me how I could do one thing different that will, like, show me how to do, or just guide me to do one thing different that'll make my life look different. Lord, did I not know that all those things?
He said, ask and it shall be given, friend. That's in a good book.
Woo! I said,
listen, those are not words. Those are life words.
I don't know if this is what I was asking.
No, but you know what? The thing is, and from the outside in, we always are presented with things unforeseen. But like you said, we have to refocus our focus, because, some days we be like, nah, but we get through it. And then the best thing about it, because, I told y'all my trauma response, we laugh about it. You got to laugh. Some things you can't laugh at the moment, but give it about 2 to 3 weeks. It's funny. And that's the thing. We have to find humor, because sometimes I feel like life is so serious that I have to laugh to keep from crying sometimes. But it makes me feel good, and it makes people laugh.
Yeah, I don't really cry, but like yesterday.
Oh, I'm going to cry. I'll cry for everybody in this room. Y'all know that.
Yesterday, like, they just had to come out.
It was tears of frustration. See, there's different types of cries.
Yeah, like I was just frustrated.
Overwhelmed, frustrated. See, my tears sometimes were of sorrow. I would have tears of guilt, tears because I would see my other two outside and my other one stuck in the room. And I know that's not what he will want to do, but he doesn't want to go outside because he can't. And then it was tears of anger, because it's like, why? It's so many different types of weeping. So I just don't weep for free. I weep for meaning.
Yeah, I try not to weep. I try not to get caught up in the whole crying thing.
I cry for happiness,
I guess
too.
I probably yell more than I cry.
Well, we know that.
That's probably my outlet, and probably not a healthy one, but whatever.
Listen, y'all could hear her down the block when she get mad.
But like yesterday, there was no controlling it. Like it just was there. And I think I kind of was hurt. Like
I think you had a lot going on in a short period of time, and then I just
was like,
you just busted through the sin. But it's all right, friend. I bet you felt better after. Listen, well, I do.
I don't know. I don't always feel better after.
That's an emotional release.
I think for me, I feel like I was defeated.
No, I think it makes you feel weak.
Yeah, probably.
That masculinity stuff, I tell you.
So, do you guys think crying is for the weak? And I'm not saying crying isn't a good thing. I really don't. To me, it's like crying makes me defeated. And
No, it makes
I
you think you're defeated.
yeah, it makes me think that I'm defeated. And I think then that's what bothers me even more.
Because you cried. And the thing is,
Yeah.
and me on the other end, I have to cry because let me tell you something, this be locked up in my chest and my throat. I ain't gonna let that happen. So I have to let it out. I don't care. I ugly cry too. I was told I look ugly when I cry. Still ain't stopped me. But you know what? I cry for happy things too. When somebody win, I'm crying. Because you know what? When I win, people be happy. When people win, I be crying. Because you know what? God in the neighborhood and I'm next.
I don't think I've ever did the crying because I'm happy. That's kind of crazy, right? I don't.
Baby,
No, I definitely cried more when I was younger.
Really?
And I think where that weakness thing comes into, when I used to cry when I was younger, my father used to call me a name that always used to stick with me because I would cry. And I think that is why
Yeah, definitely.
I don't cry when I'm upset or hurt or anything else, to not have you criticize me.
Yeah, I had to grow up in a household where emotions weren't displayed.
Yeah, I think like that's what
internalize.
happened.
I had to internalize. Like my mom straight up was like, crying, you weak, you a punk, you're like nothing. And I used to hold that in. I used to go in the room and close the door and stuff like that and let it out. But I could not like openly express, especially crying. So it really messed me up growing up because of the fact that I didn't know how to channel my emotions. Listen, I still don't know how to channel my emotions, but I'm a work in progress. I'm getting better.
But yeah, I definitely think,
So that's what it is.
I guess that just dawned on me too. Like anytime I cried or was upset over
You
something,
frustrated.
like I would be told that I looked a certain way or whatever. So I just stopped doing it. And I guess if it made me so closed off and cold to certain things, which is why I really don't cry. So then once I cry, it's like I'm defeated and I'm
So do you
weak.
feel the same way when you express emotions?
Yes.
Even if it's not crying, but if just expressing how you
feel
feel.
weak.
You know what? And let me tell you, I had this conversation with one of your nephews yesterday. And I'm like, that does not make you weak. You expressing yourself. It makes you strong because you're strong enough to say how you feel. And that's the thing. I think that's the stigma that they put on males. You're weak if you cry. No.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
Look, I don't like that.
I'm not saying that isn't, but I'm not a male. I'm a female.
But I'm just saying, like, I feel expressing yourself.
But for me to express my emotions to someone, I think puts me in a vulnerable position. Therefore, I feel weaker. Like now, you have like the upper.
You feel like a leverage or something.
Yeah, like you got leverage over me because you feel.
You
that
see how the
I
mind
feel
thinks? The mind is a
certain
powerful
way,
thing.
And now it's like you got one over on me.
I used to feel like that when I would, like certain things, y'all know already, I am a talker, but I only speak to certain people. You know what I mean? Like I could talk to anybody, but speak meaning like share, because I used to have that impression like, what if they talk about me? What if they judge me? What if, all of these things? And it's literally a mindset you program and you run with it. And it could be so far from reality, but you make it your reality.
Like I was talking to someone the other day and we were just going back and forth on stupid things. And like they expressed something like, oh, well, I'm looked at as the person who fucks up or makes mistakes and like the fuck up.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, that makes sense why you are always in defense when someone calls you out on something.
Because it's already what you feel inside about yourself.
So, and it's amazing.
It's true. I've had experiences with certain things like that.
It's definitely amazing. Like we don't really understand how much simple things that were done in, I guess, our childhood manifest themselves.
It scars
into us
you.
Being an adult.
It scars you because there were situations, now looking back on it because I have a different perspective, certain environments that I was in will make me feel a certain way, and I mean it would literally rattle me. But it wasn't just the situation in the environment, it triggered that old wound that never healed. So this was just like a little flicker to a flame that was already lit. You know what I mean? And it's like you could literally, and this stuff isn't overnight. This is stuff that's like embedded in you for years.
This is just your beliefs that you really think to be who you are, and then you don't realize that that's how you're reacting to things until like you
see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, you like try and look at it as a different. And I think that's also what's going on with me. It's like I'm starting to realize a lot of things that trigger me and the reasons why they trigger me.
But that's the big part, finding out the reasons.
Like, as much as I now have this knowledge, it's still like my default when I get triggered by it and I react to it. And then I'm pissed off.
But the thing is, I feel with you think a lot. You may not express, but you let that thing sit in there like a slow cooker on a Sunday with some lamb in it or something.
And I overthink
you
it. You
marinate that thing.
That I think of it in so many different situations and so many different scenarios. Not make up scenarios, but I'll see that situation and I'll think it until my brain hurts.
Goes on overdrive.
And then it's like one thing will trick it, and it's like I'm triggered by it, and it's like a floodgate that's going to open of me telling you how I feel.
Let me tell you something. The mind is a powerful tool, and I always say, and I've always heard that your mind is an incubator, and it really incubates your thoughts. And then whatever you think, you speak, which is your mouth is the creator, because that goes back, look, in the book of Genesis, when God said, create light. Let there be light. He spoke. So I feel like your mouth manifests what you think. And the mind is, let me tell you something. The hardest thing for me this season was raising kids and re-raising myself.
Yeah. Because you know what it is though too? Like the fact that both
the
my kids are grown or older, I see where I went wrong in certain things raising them. Like I definitely believe like my beliefs created certain things that
every parent
I can own.
Every family.
Like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have did things that way or this way.
But is there a book for parenting? Absolutely not.
No, there isn't. And like I was young when I parented the first one, and then the second one, there was so much other life going on.
But you did your best, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best. I don't know what I'm doing some days, but you know what? I'm showing up.
Yeah. Like I did my best. Could I have done better? Probably.
Everyone can, but you can't sit in what you should have, could have. And that's the thing. And we sometimes discredit ourselves without allowing anybody to do it for us, because we have things that we're already thinking internally. And then there's an action that contributes to that thought, and it goes wild. I know for me, and it was like for so long, I carried guilt for something that I couldn't control.
Yeah.
Like I carried the guilt that my middle child is disabled. Or I shouldn't even say disabled. My middle child has physical limitations, and the oldest and the youngest are doing things that he wish he could. I parented out of guilt, and I still parent out of guilt, because I feel like he didn't ask for this. So if he's asking me for this, let me compensate to make him feel better.
But I think we all do that. Like I definitely parented out of guilt in certain situations when I knew I could have done better, but because of choices that I made and not being there and not having the time in, because I had to make sure that they were being taken care of on a financial level. Hell yeah, you parent out of guilt.
My
you
oldest,
feel guilty that yeah, like for me, I used to feel guilty like my kids don't know what it's like to have me home on a weekend.
And then my oldest, I had him young, 22. I'm sorry, no offense to the firstborns, but y'all the starter kid. Because that's the first child you got to figure everything. Am I right? That's the starter kid, because you don't know. We working, and literally Jordan and I always tell people we grew up together.
Yeah, that's how I feel with Gabriella.
And with him, I think also him being the way that he is and mature, he's my son, but we have more of a relationship like a sibling. That's like I let him do his thing, and
that's how I feel with Gabriella.
And then Jacob, the youngest.
Well, he's my youngest.
You get tired. It's like you don't got that fight in you like you have for the first one.
I think with my youngest, I was more of a parent with him than I was with my oldest.
Because you was trying to figure it out?
I was literally trying to figure it out. Plus,
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Separations twice, and it was like I was young, and it was literally just me and her.
But you will be surprised, and this is something I always think about, how your if you could see yourself through your children's eyes.
Yeah. I definitely know me and their father was definitely parented the second one much different than we parented
Because
the
you
first
guys
one.
were young, you guys were
The
figuring
first
it
one,
out.
he parented out of guilt because he was going through his own situation. So he bought her things. So she was very spoiled.
And she was the princess.
And with me, I was more like,
that was your sis.
that was like my girl.
That's
'cause
your
it was
sis. You
literally
didn't have
just me and
sisters.
her. Like it was just me and her together. So when I had off, I would take her to the nail salon. We would go down the shore. We would go here. She went to the store. She came to friend's house with me.
Right.
She was just the one that I took everywhere.
She was the
with
homie.
me. So I definitely have different relationships between both of them. I think there was more guilt after I separated with both of them, and I parented them different, both out of guilt in different ways.
No, I understand that, and I feel like I parent, out of guilt as well, because, even with Jordan, because I feel like I never want him to grow up feeling like, oh, just because Justin needed more attention, I didn't love him or give him enough attention. So I feel like I parent out of guilt in that. And then with Jacob, it's like, he's so carefree. Let me tell you something. I strive to be like my youngest. If Don't Care was a person, Don't Care is 9 years old right now in the 3rd grade, because he just lives life. He flows. He's carefree. He says what he want to say. He think what he want to think. He's just like his own man. He's been here before. I say that. But also with him, because of the fact that, he had to kind of grow up quicker to be an assistance to his brother. So it was like, every parent, I feel like they parent out of guilt on some level or way, shape, or form. But that doesn't mean that you're not a good parent. You're doing the best that you can with what you know how.
Yeah, I agree.
You
and
know?
I don't think your kids realize that until
they're older
parents.
and they're parents, because I didn't understand things until I got older.
The same. Like, I'll be honest with you, the same. Like, I know my mom, I took some traits of her, and now it's like that I see those traits that I kind of don't want to mimic. Now it's like I went the complete opposite.
Yeah, because you was trying to avoid that at all costs.
I was trying to avoid that at all
Let me tell you something. I read a meme on Facebook, and I felt that in my whole spirit. It said, as I get older, I see why my mother used to get mad when she had to make stops on the way home. Because when I pick you out from school, why I gotta stop all these places? I just want to go home.
My son actually sent me a meme that said, now that I'm older, I know why my mom used to come home from work and just go in her room. Like,
for real.
Sometimes.
Listen, don't let me have a Hershey with an almonds and a Pepsi in my bonnet and a good show on. And don't let me have something on that DVR, because you know what? Y'all gonna give me an hour and 3 minutes.
Like, sometimes I used to, especially being in the business that I'm
mentally draining.
Like, I'm around people all day and I'm around energy all day.
So that's the last thing you want to do.
The last thing I want to do is talk, and that's terrible because I had kids at home, and it's terrible. Like, I get it, but it's like I literally used to just go home and just go straight in.
Yeah, because you're so drained, and sometimes you're so depleted that you don't even have anything left.
No, it's like I had nothing left in me.
Yeah, and I
needed to literally just shower and go to sleep
and try again,
to know I was gonna do it all over again tomorrow.
And you know what? Just like I said before, that quote that said, "Your best is gonna look different every day." That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of those days this season. Like, I just was like beaten, and it's not like a physical beating; it's a mental battle.
Yeah. Like, sometimes I'm just like, yo, I surrender.
And sometimes, we carry things and we try to handle and fix things, and it's not our position to do so. Like, and that's what burns us out.
There are some days that
Princess, you feeling me, sis, because you sitting up here looking at me. She's sitting up here like, you know what? Me too, girl.
I know, girl. It's the wig. It's the wig.
But they invite. Listen, this the best. Listen, I'm giving you the best that I got, like Anita Baker said. And this is all I got for you today.
Yeah. I definitely think this last year has made me sometimes just be like, yo, I surrender.
But question, do you feel like you've grown in certain ways?
I feel like I've grown in certain ways, and I feel like I'm still stuck in certain ways.
Okay.
It's
well,
like
it's a balance.
It's like I feel like I got one foot on the sidewalk, and then I still got one foot in the street, and it's like we teeter-tottering.
Okay, but maybe you just got 1 foot ahead of you, 1 foot in front of you, and you're making a step, and you just feel like you got 1 foot back and 1 foot forward, but you're really moving forward.
Like, I feel. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
say that.
That's what sometimes I just feel like I'm stuck. It's like I'm stuck.
But
and
I think
like
it's a mind
this
thing.
other foot doesn't want to go there because it's like I don't know what's there.
Same.
And I think that's where I get stuck. And then that's where I beat myself up.
I was just about to say that we be our worst critics.
Because I'm just like, yo, like, this isn't then. So what are you doing? Like, move it. But I think I feel like I'm like teeter-tottering.
But you know what? As long as you move each and every day, that's a win. And you move forward. Whether you're doing a crawl, whether you're doing a crip walk, whether you run, you still moving forward. And that's the thing I think we take for granted, you know, and I know that for myself because I used to be like, oh, I don't have this together. I don't have that. And I used to harp on it. And it's like, you know what? We got to take life one day at a time because there's somebody out there, no matter how crazy you think your life is, wish they had it.
Yeah. And it's like, I know that. And I also know that I'm not guaranteed to wake up tomorrow. I'm not guaranteed to make it to the end of tonight. I'm not guaranteed I'm going to see the weekend. I'm not guaranteed any of that. And I know that. And I know that because I've lived that. I know that from experience. Right. I know that. It's just like your heart. No, not even your heart.
You're just stuck in the moment.
Mind
You're just stuck
you.
in the moment. And you know what? We don't know. But you know what I do know? I know I want me a chicken sandwich with a lot of Heinz ketchup, some steak fries with a little bit of seasoning salt, and a Pepsi with a lot of ice crushed. That's what I do know I want. I'm hungry.
I'm starving too. I had yogurt this morning.
I ate. I had some Spanish food, and then I had a hot dog. But I'm hungry, and you know what? That's gonna make me all types of happy. Tell you right then and there.
So I don't know. We're not gonna probably see Tyra next week.
No, unless y'all want to do like a live or something. Y'all gonna hear some beeps in the background, but sis will be present.
Probably not gonna see Tyra for a week or so.
No.
I don't know who I'm bringing on as a guest.
Oh, that'll be good. Put a guest. Look, could I just tune in via speaker?
Maybe.
Y'all put the phone to the mic so I can say, hey, y'all.
I'm not sure. But anyway, we're all going to follow Justin's journey.
Yes.
We're all going to say prayers. We're all going to give him blessings and good energy and positive vibes.
Yes.
And
speedy recovery.
Pray for our 13-year-old warrior. And we're going to make sure that we all have him in our thoughts because we only spread love. We might talk a lot of crap, but we also just spread love.
Mm-hmm. And kids off limits.
Yeah, kids are off limits.
Especially mine.
So thank you for watching and subscribing.
Very good. Progress, y'all. See?
Subscribing and following and sharing.
And liking.
There
you go, friend. Look at you.
On our TikTok, on our Instagram,
Reels.
on our Reels, and on our YouTube channel. Hey, I'm at 20. When I reach 20K, we're going to make a 20K pizza and we're going to celebrate.
Listen, and her 20K, I want my 20%. Manager fee.
So
Cash App, Zelle info available.
That is it for today. Thank you guys for listening to our to us jabbering because that was weird.
Have a wonderful evening, and like you said, positive thoughts and prayers my way. I'm accepting. Thank you so much. Everyone have a wonderful evening.
Bye guys.